Portense Biennn, CCC, episode 48, man. We got a special guest today. He goes by no other than Nicholas Rosenberg here. What's up, Nicholas?
How you doing, Predikt? Thanks for having me on the show. Much love, much respect.
Gracias, man. Why you always flexing with your shades, man? I try to keep up with you, man.
It's just the thing about, the lawyer, right?
I don't think I've ever seen you wear the same pair twice.
All right. I'll take that.
Take that. You're flexing on that, man.
No, I'm just a humble guy.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Right, all right.
I just feel like you're one of the most humblest attorneys out there. And I want to thank you just for helping out a lot of raza. Whether there's a lot of, what should we call them? A lot of, I don't like to call them inmates, man. I just feel like calling on people that could have a second chance in life. Mm-hmm. And all these things that are going on with the laws changing. And some people are able to have parole or probation and come back out and start a new life. It's up to them if they fuck up or not. But when I see you inspire me every single time you come out and you're like, we took this guy from 45 years to he time served and this and that. I'm like, how do you do it, man? How do people reach out to you and choose you as the attorney?
So I do a lot with my Instagram and I answer all of my own DMs. So when you DM me, you're actually getting me. And then usually I'll port the intake conversation over to my text and then we set up a meeting. So my Instagram is @Attorney Rosenberg.
That's dope, man, because I'm telling you, every day when I see something new of you, I'm like, man, you're taking these guys out for some serious crimes that they didn't even think they had a second opportunity. Mm-hmm. So just to have like family members reach out to you or one way or another, because people are like, you know of any good attorneys? I'm like, yeah, I fuck with Attorney Rosenberg. That's the only guy that I really would trust as a criminal defense attorney, And I might say that because I see you interacting with a lot of the Latinos, Chicanos, Mexicans, whatever. You're out there frontline. You actually will, if we tell you come to an event, you will pull up to an event. Mm-hmm. I think there's like 98, 99% of attorneys that be like, I ain't going to go to that function. I got other things. And you're like, nah, I'm going to go get me some clients. I don't know what you're thinking, but, I like the way that you think and support us.
Well, so for me, the homies show me love, and I try to contribute, get out there. Right now, I have a lot of contacts in the arts. So we got the music, we got the film, we got the acting, and I've been blessed that here in LA, the homies show me love. That's all I can say.
The name is Está Limpio.
Está Limpio.
Yeah, that's good, man. I think that speaks high of you, because even if an attorney fucks up, the word gets around. That attorney sucks. Oh, don't even waste your money on that. And every single time I hear about Rosenberg, it's like, dude, that's a badass motherfucker right there. I'm like, yeah, man, I've been messing with him for quite some time, and luckily I haven't needed you, But I know if something ever happens to me, it's like, look for Nicholas Rosenberg, call him, like figure out where his number is at, but call him, and I know you'll pull through. You know what I'm saying? I have confidence in you. I don't ever want to be in that situation again, but if I would hire a criminal defense attorney, it would definitely be you.
No, I appreciate it.
It's all love.
It's not that you might need me. It might be somebody that you know or that they know, word of mouth.
Yeah, and like I said, your word is good, man, and you're active. That's what I trip out on. Like, look at him, he's over there. Like, I'm like, you don't stop working. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like about you, man. Let me ask you a question. I went to your office last time, and you had the pair of fufu dogs. Mm-hmm. Why do you have them? Because I have them in my house.
Okay. So the food dog, if you go to like a Chinese bank or a Chinese temple, you'll see the dogs in the front. Mine happen to be green granite, and they have one paw down and one paw up, and they're like this. Ah!
Yeah, well, one of us holding, I think the male is actually holding the world, and the female is holding the cub.
Yeah, she's holding her baby. Mm-hmm. So what it's for is to ward off evil spirits. So there are people that come into the office and they need to just go back out.
See. That's the same thing. I believe in that, and I have all that spiritual shit at my house. And when I seen those big old ones at your work, I was like, all right, you know what it is, like, and it's cool. And you like touch it, and I'm like, hell yeah, because these things are good luck. You know what I'm saying? And not a lot of Chinese people will reveal their secrets unless you kind of ask them. They'll tell you what it's about. And I started learning about that probably about 10 years ago. Like the fufu dogs, part dogs have lions, have dragons or whatever. But I learned about them, and I was like, one day I'm going to get me a pair of those, and
cool.
And so far, I mean, they do bring you that luck if you really believe in it and stuff, and warn off negative energy.
Yeah, I believe in that. I know you've got a lot of not charms, but you've got a lot of symbols that you wear.
Yeah, that I wear. I prefer wearing that over gold, because I have gold chains, gold bracelets, Rolexes, but I choose not to wear them, at least not at this time, because people are getting rough for the smallest little chains at gunpoint, and I'm like, man, it ain't even worth it.
Right now, I will say that LA is very active. It's active out there.
For anything.
Yeah, it's all.
If you're flexing, expect something.
I think that's about right. The streets, after 2 years, everyone is just out and about again.
I think that's why all these takeovers, when people are doing donuts on the streets, it has to do a lot with people being just isolated and indoors. So now all these youngsters that are maybe, early 20s or 18, and they're out there doing donuts everywhere, taking over all the streets, it's because we've been put on timeout for so long.
Yeah. My industry is kind of recession proof because people always need that criminal lawyer, right?
So, hey, I imagine you over there were like, oh, you guys need me? Here's my business card, huh?
Right, like the homies outside Twin Towers, the bail bondsmen, So for me, I got very busy. I took on a lot of big cases. I have a lot of gang murders that I'm doing right now, and these are cases I got during the pandemic.
No shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. People were really bored.
Well, so the other thing, is people say it's active now, and they say, Rosenberg, how can you represent these gangsters or whatever they're going to say? But the murders that I have are pre-pandemic. So I have a case. I may be on that case for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So I'm not profiting off the active stuff right now, if you get me.
So let's say if that case goes on for, like you said, 2, 3, 4 years, that means the tab is going to be a little bit bigger than normally 2 years.
So we don't charge hourly for criminal defense. We do what we call a flat fee.
A flat fee.
So I estimate what it's going to cost, and then that's what I charge. And if it takes 1 year or it takes 7 years,
it's flat rate.
That's like, I'll give you an example. A lot of people know I did the case for Jose Fox Rodriguez Landa, and he got brought to LA County in 2012.
Okay.
And I still have a second case for him that I'm doing. So I've been with him for about 9 years now.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that's, the big guy.
The big guy. That's a big guy, metal.
Yeah, exactly, mero.
Damn, how did you learn your Spanish so well, man?
Yo era cocinero en Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I had a lot of good exposure in the back, right? My first word.
With the paisas, a lavar platos.
Hello paisas, right? So my first word that they taught me, they pointed at a knife and they said, peligroso. Peligroso.
Right.
Then he points to the stove and he says, caliente. So that was, and they go, pa, 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 pa. So I had to hear, I was immersed in it.
I was at the hospital last week, right? And there was this youngster. Not youngster. He's about, I think he was 30, and he works at some place in a taquero over there off of Atlantic. It's called Tacos a Cabron. And I was like, what's over? Let me check out your Instagram. I was like, damn, you guys are doing it big, And I just told him, ¿de dónde eres? And he's like, soy de Guatemala. Oh, le dije, eres un wak. Wak, like guatemalteco. Because then I'm like, because I heard you talking on the phone and estabas hablando like a Maya. You know, so I kind of picked up your language. So de donde eres? Started telling me, you know, and they're very soft-spoken, you know, short people, 5 feet tall, you know, but I picked up his language right away. I understood certain things, but certain things I was like, dude, you're talking that is either Aztec or you're talking Mayan.
Yeah.
And it was Mayan he was talking. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Never heard somebody one-on-one talking like that. But I try to pick it up quick, like, oh, I think that means this. I think that means that, you know? But I'm always open to, like, learning any language, like Filipino. I know that there's a lot of Spanish in there as well, you know?
Yeah, Tagalog.
Como staca.
Como staca, okay.
You know, that's like como estás. So, como staca, you know? And just little things that are just to break the ice with certain people that have different races. I love doing that. You know?
Yeah, Indigenos, I think, have a lot to teach us because they have some of their, you know, their customs and ways have been around for so long.
Yeah. Did you ever box?
I've done some boxing, yeah.
That's dope. I like your punchline, though.
Yeah.
Punching back.
So that came about, I had a billboard where it said, arrested, hire a fighter. And that came about from when I was a public defender and people complained, man, my lawyer never fought for me. He didn't do shit, right?
That made you work harder?
That made me say, I'm a fighter, right? Hire me, I'm the fighter. So that's how that came about. But mostly as a kid, I grew up playing football in the street.
Nice. That's crazy, man. What's the craziest case that you had when you barely started? That you took on and you're like, man, I'm going to take on this shit. I have to beat it.
Right.
Like it was a challenge for you and you took it on.
So when I first started my law firm in LA in 2011, I got my first case and then I just kept getting cases and cases. But I got picked up pretty much by the homies in Pacoima. So they started getting me cases. And through a very good friend of ours, if you know him, Little Boy, RIP 2014, but he used to get me cases, and he got me this case from the Maras.
Okay.
So we had a taco truck extortion case that went back 5 years. So it started in 2013, but it went back for 5 years. So my homie Little Boy got me the number one guy. Wow. So now we had 24 Mara Salvatruchas in 5 little groups, and they had video. They had all kinds of, it was a horrible case. But it was a conspiracy to commit extortion for the benefit of the gang.
Damn.
So when I substituted in, the judge was a judge named Judge Oda. He's now the presiding judge. So I was with my client. He talked for 40 minutes before he agreed that I could be his lawyer. And I just stood there with my hand on my client's shoulder. He was sitting down, and I'm like, what's going to happen here? I don't even know if I'm going to get on the case.
Damn.
So that case was a good case. He ended up getting 11 years instead of 7 to life plus the 10-year enhancement.
Man, I don't know, man. You have like a little guardian angel with you, man, because you always be beating some crazy cases that I'm like, that shit wouldn't even have happened in a million years. And you're like, here I am with my client all the time taking people out, man. And I think that's just inspiring that you are an attorney that really fights back for a lot of the people out there. You're just not like, he's a gang member. Let's just let him do his time. You actually take the time and be like, you know what? He's a human being. Fuck you. There's bail. Get him out.
Right. So I got into the gang cases, which I pretty much, as a private lawyer, specialize in, when I was a baby public defender doing juvenile. And I saw the little guys, 13, 14, little flacos, and they get in a fight.
I love it, dog.
They get in a fight at school, and now the administration and the cops want to say, oh, it's gang-related. So they give them juvenile probation with gang terms. You can't wear blue. You can't associate with another person and all that. And I saw these guys getting strikes. By the time they're 16, they have
already
1 or 2
striking
strikes,
now.
And they got set up for failure in the adult system. So where we were at, they did a lot with gang validation criteria, like self-admits in a custodial facility, tattoos, FI cards, etc. So I got very into the whole concept of the gangs based on that. So focusing on my cases now in LA, a lot of lawyers don't want the gangsters. Why not? Because they've got prison priors, they've got strikes, they've been upstate. Lawyers have handed them the deal and said, just take the deal, you'll get out today. And then they say, what's up, bro? Now I have a strike. So the clients, they can be difficult for private lawyers to deal with.
Because of their attitude and stuff like that. So their attorneys are like scared to take on their case because they're violent criminals or something.
So what I learned about all that is that when I go visit somebody at the jail, especially when you've been upstate, they're scanning you and you have about 30 seconds before they say this guy's full of shit or this guy's for real.
It's true.
30 fucking seconds. So basically what I learned to do is look through the glass, look through and see that person.
And see if you're going to vibe with him or not.
Mm-hmm. I get along with all my clients. I can remember when as a public defender, there's one dude who kind of stepped up on me in the parking lot. But anyways.
Like, you don't want to step up to me, dog. You could go represent yourself.
Right.
Straight up.
Right.
Hell yeah, man. You're doing somebody a favor and he's trying to stood up. Well, then go in yourself, dog.
Right.
Go stood up to the fucking judge like that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to help you.
Right.
And I don't know, man. I'm just amazed at how many cases you really going on and how people really do talk about you on the streets. Like, man, Rosenberg's a business. People always ask me, how do you know Rosenberg? I'm like, man, we're just good, man. Just know that,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to have you on. And thank you for coming to my podcast, man. Like, first attorney on my podcast.
All right. Well, you and I met through Conejo.
Yeah, how long ago was that? Like 4 years ago, 3 years ago?
So when he got out, it was 2018
February
when he did his first show.
Yeah.
So his first show
was in Atlanta.
Well, okay, the first Nightmare Before Christmas.
So that
Christmas
was 2019 then.
I think it was 2018.
2018 is when we ended up in Atlanta. In December or something, and then we came back, and that's when the Nightmare Before Christmas started in 2019.
Okay.
So
I met you guys at the party when she turned 1.
Oh, okay. Oh,
that's when I met you.
Yeah.
And Kilo.
CCC.
The big homie.
Yeah, the big homie. You gotta put him on a diet. He's got a hernia, man. And he's got to lose like 100 pounds. I told him, look, dog, I've been to the hospital and you twice my weight, dog. Don't underestimate that shit, homie. Trust me. Mm-hmm. He's like, I know I have to, but I love food too much. Mm-hmm. You love your family or not?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It really goes down to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lonely trip in there. Oh, and thank you for you coming to visit me as well. When I had my shoulder dislocated, you came in, you just checked up on me. I really appreciated that because you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You're a busy man, and you took time out of your time to come visit me and just bond. And just that shit made me feel comfortable that I'm like, fucking Rosenberg's a real one, man. That fool took his time, and I'm going to go see you Predikt. Well, didn't we have some ceviche or something?
Yeah, you ordered some good aguachiles.
Aguachiles on Rosaritos Mariscos in San Fernando. That's fucking XG's favorite spot to eat. They take I've been going there for like 20 years.
Wow.
They have all kinds of different food, so whenever you want to go, I got you my treat.
For sure.
You're going to go to this year's Nightmare Before Christmas?
This year, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in Asia from the 1st to the 15th.
Some Asian persuasion?
Something like that.
Oh, man, I got to go.
Yeah, but I haven't missed one of Conejo's shows for the Nightmare Before Christmas.
I know you're always there. We get a private listening shit. You're there, huh? Like,
yeah, I pull up.
You're like family right there, Man, that's fucking awesome with you. How was your day today, or what? You have any cases?
Yeah, I went to court. I I was in San Fernando, and I'm
My
Yeah,
favorite.
that's where
right
you
there
were.
where you go, you know you're gonna get sentenced for anything. You're gonna get it, dog. That's the only reason I don't like San Fernando court, because no matter what, they're gonna get their money.
Right.
You know.
So my first case I had today, the client is charged with firearm violation and then controlled substance with a firearm. So I told him, let's get some character letters. And he actually came through. He came up with 7 letters, and I was impressed. But there's only one hitch. He didn't bring 3 copies. So I gave my originals to the DA, and we took pictures of the other ones, and then I'm going to email them and print them out.
They find loopholes, huh?
But the second case, I filed a motion to tell them that I'm coming in on this. And this is a big gang murder. Client is pretty blasted out. And he's a young guy, really nice guy. And when I do my first meetings inside the jail, I always stand up. So when the guys come out, I'm not sitting there like I'm lazy. I'm giving you like the respect.
The respect.
I'm here, and you can see Rosenberg, and then we can start our meeting.
Yeah, that's our attorney right there, Rosenberg. They know that when you're there, you're there to play hardball.
And then I went to the jail and did my first client meeting, and then I'll be coming in. It's a gang murder with 2 attempt murders. I'll be coming in on Thursday. So then we're going to get the reports.
So you do a lot of murder charges and all that shit, right?
Yeah, I do murders.
You do any pedophile shit going on? Like, I'm going to take care of him because...
Like the chomos?
Yeah.
I don't really mess with the sex cases.
No, so you let somebody else take care of your bullshit.
I mean, I've done them. When you're a public defender, you can't choose your cases.
Oh, okay. But as an attorney, you're like, nah, man, that's not your cup of tea.
Sometimes, people are lying.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. And there's all kinds of reasons that accusers come forward.
Yeah.
So, but I try to stay away from that kind of thing. Because this is what I know, right? I know, the cultura pretty well by now.
Right.
And that's why I go to these events.
Mm-hmm.
As like a sponsor.
It seems it seems like you have a client for every gang out there in the LA County, dog.
Well,
everybody knows you, man. It's like, God dang, you gotta. You're like a representative for every single gang member and from every hood. Like somebody fucks with you always. Rosenberg, like, hey, you're known, man.
Right.
You're known.
What I've told people is that my goal is to actually have at least one case in every hood. So there's 500 neighborhoods in the city of LA, and imagine doing a case in every hood. You'd be like Alex.
How many cases do you get in Glendale? Because supposedly somebody says that there nothing happens in Glendale.
I've done cases in Glendale.
Yeah, what kind?
But mostly those were like lesser cases, misdemeanors. I think I did some batteries and DUIs out there.
No murders?
No, I've never done a murder.
Not in Glendale?
I do a lot of my murders downtown.
Fuck, I believe you. I believe you, you know what I'm saying? And, shit, what else is new, man? Talk to me. Rosenberg, I have you here now, man. What's going on? Where the pollitas?
Pollitas. That's after we tape, right?
After we tape.
Right?
Yeah.
But, no, so with the new district attorney being in office, there's been a lot of changes. I've posted about it. But one of the things is that they have taken the old hardcore gang unit and they've chopped it in half, and they've changed the name for community violence reduction. We call that COVER. So at the same time that the murders are going up, they took the hardcore gang unit and cut it in 2.
So they're short-staffed in LAPD then?
So no, this is the DA. So now the DAs, they're carrying like 30 murders.
Damn.
So they're completely maxed out.
Because I went to court supposedly for a speeding ticket, and I postponed it. Then I went, I pleaded not guilty. They gave me my court date. And when I went over there was only 14 people. And there was only, I think it was only 2 peace officers. And right on the wall, they have everybody's names right there. And 8 of us had the exact same peace officer, motorcycle cop. He never showed up. Mm-hmm. I was like one of the first ones to go up, and they're like, all right, case dismissed. I was like, what do you mean? He ain't here. So then everybody, case dismissed, and I'm like, because they're short in staff, And so they're basically were saying that they were going to start clearing everybody's fucking let's say if you owed money to the court system, and it's, you know how they have their court charges are pretty high up there.
Oh yeah.
That they were going to start cutting all those things off and start wiping people's record out, because there's no point of going after people if they ain't got no jobs or nothing. So what's the point?
Right. That's what we call the criminalization of poverty, and there's been a trend away from that. For example, with the bail reform, if you remember 10 years ago, the bail schedule was pretty much it, right?
Right.
The misdemeanor guys got cited out, but you could have like a misdemeanor DV guy and his bail's 30 grand. He's going to have to pay, the 10% premium. But there's been a movement for bail reform saying, hey, you can't keep people locked up just because they can't afford their bail. So now we see a lot of people, at the $30,000 level down, they're all getting OR'd and they're not being held. But what people didn't realize is that people in the middle, like my clients, 50,000, 100, 250 grand bails, especially the dealers, some of those guys are getting kept in custody because the judge says they're a risk to public safety. So now when some people do these bail reviews, the judges are imposing no bail.
I have a good question. Let me see if you could answer it. You know how they've been promoting a lot of the fentanyl crisis that's going on TV, and it's killing this and it's killing that. I have a very good question about whoever in LAX got caught with those Skittles and these little Whopper boxes.
Right.
They say, okay, we caught somebody bringing all that stuff in, but how come they don't show the person who brought it in? Like show his mugshot.
Right. Well,
why? That's why I always just think that these are all inside jobs, because you guys never show who brought them, who got caught.
Right.
Show his fucking mugshot.
So they might not have access to that mugshot, but if they had the live camera, they could. But a lot of times, the fentanyl thing is, this is what I say, just if I was a common sense person. If I'm going to be creating a product, I want buyers. So to me, it doesn't make sense to have people OD like that.
It no makes sense.
It
That's
doesn't
bad
make
for
sense
business
to
all
me.
around. It makes no sense all around.
But I've done fentanyl cases. In fact, I did a case, what year was that? I think it was 2016 or 2017. My client, he had a big brick of solid fentanyl. And it was
pure.
It was a big brick. I forget. It was, it might have been a kilo. It was like compressed powder.
Is that shit more expensive than cocaine?
I think so. The street value is way more if you go pound for pound.
Right?
But what happened is nobody knew about fentanyl yet.
At that time.
So he was charged with heroin because it tested positive for the opioids. And I ended up getting him community labor, and he had 3 years probation. But later on, when we have fentanyl cases before the judges, they're mad. They're upset, and so it changed. So my first client that he had that, he was so early they didn't even know.
Wow. And what about now? Are you able to take him out because the laws have changed or anything?
No. He got probation. He did community service.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
what
crazy.
I got him.
Man, well, that's not bad, man. That's not bad at all.
So as far as the Whoppers and the candy, you just go back to the ecstasy days, and it's the same thing, right? Just, they paste the pills out, and they make colors and little things, and it could be targeted towards, younger people, teenagers.
Because I look at it like, okay, first you guys see a big old bag of blue M30s, and then you guys got the one in the at LAX, but you guys are not showing us no faces.
Right.
Who got caught? So is this probably just stuff that's coming from like the vault and be like, look, this is what's going on, and they're making up a whole story because they're not showing faces.
Right. You think they should write a letter to the editor?
Something, man, because I watch the news and I'm like, all right, well, show us a face. Who was it?
Right.
Obviously, you guys caught him, so, there's a face to that case. Or it's what they say, no face, no case.
Right.
So who do we blame? You guys are just showing us pills that they come in Skittle boxes or all kinds of rainbow little pills, but who brought them?
Right.
Throw the blame at somebody and they don't. So I think sometimes it's like a hoax or something.
So you think it's like a conspiracy?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I can't speak on that, as my clients would say.
Right.
But, yeah. What's interesting in criminal law is that, first of all, everybody thinks they know all about criminal law. Right?
So they're there.
No. Everyone knows, you go to a cocktail party, Rosenberg, how can you represent all those guilty people? So people know you don't commit murder, you can get in trouble, whatever these are. But the reality of the California legal system is it's very complex. And so people feel like they know, but when it comes down to what happens in court, it's very, very complex, very different. And people, I'm thinking of jurors, right, because they have to make a decision about what happened and apply the law.
Right.
Their common sense isn't really enough. So that's like you mentioned the guy, why don't you go represent yourself, right? People feel like they know, but it's actually far more complex. So that's the value in the service that we provide.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just learning something from an attorney firsthand is crazy the way you abbreviate everything for us, because I think like the lawyer language, the medical language, the pill language, when you go to the doctors and they're just throwing these big old fancy words for a pill, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, man, but I guess give it to me, you know what I'm saying? You want the flu shot? Nope. You want another shot? What is it? Go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the dialysate or I don't know, was like a
Dilaudid?
Dilaudid. Yeah. They started giving me that. And I was like, what is this? They're like,
that's a medium grade.
Yeah, they tell you it's 10 times stronger than heroin. I was like, then I was like, fuck, I guess, dog. Just get a 0.2. I was like, damn, that's just baby. But it's, just to make you feel it like, damn. So that's how it feels, huh?
Right.
It's a pretty crazy, it's not like I say that I like it or nothing, but when it's time to take your pain away, it'll take your pain away for sure.
For sure.
It'll take you on a little crazy little roller coaster ride. And when you get off of it, I think that's the worst part of it. You're like, man, I'm starting to see these dead people and demons and all these. My mind's playing tricks on me. It's a really strong fucking opioid,
Right. Yeah,
it's
you got to be
scary.
careful that over long-term use you don't get hooked.
Oh, no. I think the only thing that I'm hooked is on pussy.
Okay.
Earlier
you were saying panocha.
El pan.
El pan?
El pan, the bread, homie.
Okay, el pan. Okay.
Pan, no.
So, I've been blessed that, the Razas reached out to me and supported me. And, I got into the rappers pretty much through Conejo. So through the Conejo case and having him, embrace me, then I started going and meeting all the people. And now I have my clients are in the Chicano rap zone. And I've been blessed.
Yeah, you've been blessed, man. Like I said, it only takes one person to open the door for you and vouch and be like, I'm going to fuck with him. And then when they see your work ethic, they're like, oh, yeah, for sure, I'm going to fuck with Rosenberg. People always ask me, who's your attorney? I'm like, Rosenberg.
Right. And by the way, I'll give a shout out to Concrete. He's one of those people that I met, and you're doing it, homie.
Yeah. You saw him passing the white thong right now? Yeah, like a little angel.
Right.
Yeah, man. Nah, Concrete is a very solid person. Look at the show. Man, good persons, man. Blessed me with this location and believing in me and the podcast, all that good stuff. XG, I want to thank him too. Without him, all this stuff wouldn't be running.
For sure.
I put up with this shit. He puts up with mine. But he's my yin to my yang. Actually, I sent him out to Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, I told him to bring back like 2 kilos. And he brought me 2 fat girls.
Oh. 2 kilos, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So 2 kilos, here's another thing that happened. So it used to be when you had the weight, right, the big amounts, then they have weight enhancements. So there's one for 1 kilo, 4 kilos, 10 kilos, 20
There's
kilos.
levels to this shit.
Right. But what happens is at the high weight, you end up with $1 million bail. And on a drug case, they're going to challenge the source of bail. But the new DAs got rid of all the weight enhancements.
So basically, you're only going to, if you got 10 kilos, you're only going to get charged for 1.
Well, he's not going to add the weight enhancement, which would have added 10 years.
So you come out winning.
Yeah, well, this is not like an invitation for people to go out and start an enterprise. But what I'm saying is that there are significant changes, but then our DA has been under fire because the deputy DAs, the ones you see in court, they have a union and they've sued their boss. So they said that he was making them break the law by not alleging strike priors and by not adding what we call special circumstances on a murder. So this period that we're in is a period of turmoil, and for someone like me, I have to navigate that system and advocate for my client. So in other words, what's happened is some of the DAs have gotten more strict as pushback from the boss.
Right.
So there's a lot of friction.
There's a lot of
in that
controversy
office.
shit going on.
Yeah. There's a
Like,
lot
here,
of
you want
friction.
Starbucks or Nescafe? Come on, dog. Play with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
That's crazy, man. I've always wanted to see what will go on behind those walls if you were like an attorney. Like, what are you guys going to talk about? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, so there's a bar near my office, and it's become kind of the happy hour place. And now we see the DAs come there a lot.
Like, get away from us. This
No,
our
I
spot.
just go out of earshot, for the orejones. I just try to
Orejones.
avoid that.
Orejones.
But, yeah. So people think that, well, Rosenberg, if you know the DA and you know the judge, it's going to happen. I don't play golf with judges, right? I don't go to those events. But we do go to social events where the judges are, like through MABA, Mexican American Bar
you like to
Association.
stay in your lane.
Well, what I'm saying is that having a professional relationship with the prosecutor is the ideal way to represent your client. Otherwise, you have this.
That's true.
And that's not going to help the guys.
Yeah.
So I work very hard to have cordial professional relationships with my DAs, and that's how, you can beat 50 to life and get an out date.
You hear that, X? That's some pretty good knowledge right there, homie. That's some real good knowledge right here right now you just threw at us.
Mm-hmm.
Scratch my back, I'm going to scratch yours.
Yeah. That's another thing. Clients always say that they feel their lawyer made a deal with the DA and is working with the DA, and like, you take one, I'll take one, you take one. Oh. In my experience, that's not really how it works. But I do believe that if your lawyer is getting pushback from the DA,
but what if the DA,
and the judge,
what if the DA's a beautiful female, she has a crush on you?
Right. Well,
I mean, it's happened, man. It's happened, man.
I wear
Fuck
one
that
jersey.
shit. It's happened, X. So that's why I'm asking this question, right?
Well, there's a public defender who I went to high school with, actually. And he fell in love with the DA.
See what I'm saying, dog? I told you.
And they got married, and it was a huge, huge thing because there's a lot of there's a lot of chisme at the courthouse.
A lot of cheese.
So I believe they're still married and they had kids together. But see, like me, I can't roll like that.
Why?
Because it doesn't work.
If you get married, will you get married to a Caucasian or a Chola?
I don't know, bro. We'll see.
You like that gang life, homie.
No,
you want
no.
us a sharp because be like, sock check, homie. Let me see your socks before you go to work, Rosenberg.
Right. We talked a little bit, and I told you that in the past I was married to some Colombianas.
What?
Yeah, I never told you that.
No, some Colombianas.
Yeah, so I've been married to two Colombianas. The first
they're
one,
so beautiful.
Yeah, the first one, she's half Colombian. Her dad was a lawyer, but she passed away basically right when I became a lawyer. So then after that, I met another Colombiana who was el más fina, pero el más loca.
La más fina y la más loca.
She was actually crazy.
Really pretty, but really crazy.
Yeah, so that one, you know.
Adios.
Right, and since then, I just focus on my law firm.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. Wow.
Yeah.
Colombiana. I don't even know who the hell I'm gonna marry. Fucking Colombian, Guatemala. Who knows, man? As long as the vibe is right, it's cool. But I think I have to stay within my range, like Latinas, especially Mexicans, because we just know what we like. And I know if I will marry like a Salvadorian or a Guatemalan or whatever, they just have different tastes in a lot of different things. You know, them Salvies be having a machete right next to the drawer. Like, hold on, you're right there, baby girl. Calm down. You know, like, te voy a montar verga, vos. Like, damn, man, you're crazy. You know, at least a Mexican girl to sock your ass up. But the Salvadorians will come out with a machete or something, man. They're crazy, man. But they're pretty, too. You know, then Guatemalans are pretty, too. But goddamn, they're a little sparky.
So, I mean, even you got your Peruanas.
Peruana, ooh.
You got all kinds of stuff.
All of them.
Yeah.
They're pretty, but once they get mad, it's like, oh, damn, you're crazy.
So, in my practice, you know, I can never be a Sancho, right? So
you never offer Sancho services, like as an attorney?
Not with the homies.
No, but what about their ladies?
That's what I'm trying to say. So for me, a lot of women come and see me, and they're the ones that hire me, right?
So have some girls ever offer you, like, I don't got money?
There was a little gray area one time, but I had to clean that one up.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, that's how you keep your name and your palabra.
Yeah.
Is you can't have that, because just like what you said, right? That would be the end of my career.
Yeah, because if you get that one baddie with the BBL, and then if you don't hold it down for her, she'll be like, nah, he threw something in my pudding. You know what I'm saying? She gave me that Bill Cosby. You know, so I understand, because I know there's a lot of females that might be like, I don't got that kind of money, but can we work something out? Like, what do you mean work something out? You know, and you have to see how you're going to take the pros with the cons on that part. Because if you say yes, she's like, all right, we're ready. I'll be here every week till we pay off that tab.
Yeah. So it reminds me of a story my mentor lawyer told me. This would be back in the 90s when the porn industry was big.
Oh, well, that shit was popping.
That's how those clients, and I'm not saying everybody, but that's what they would do, is they'd say, hey, you know, this is what I'm going to give you, but I want you on my case. So I've never had that. I've never represented the porn stars.
You never represented?
I haven't done it.
If it's a male porn star, you'd be like, let me see if you're really packing, dog.
Yeah, I would just leave that.
Let me see that third leg, homie. Is it real or is that camera angle?
I might read the back of the cassette, but that's
the cassette, the VHS?
That's as far as I would go.
Copyright 1989. Harry Beaver's still alive.
So I don't even know who that is.
Man, come on, you're older than me. You tell me you never had a girl with the Harry Beaver.
No,
come on,
I
dog.
thought you were saying like Harry, like
no.
I'm talking about, we were talking about like, you know.
I was talking about how girls normally had Harry Beavers back then, till they started trimming and then shaving. Then the bald eagle came out, and then the Brazilian wax. Damn, I still remember those days in the 90s. Like, man, them beavers were hairy, but that's what made a woman already. Like, oh. Right. It's puffy already. Nice.
Remember, I was in Berkeley, so I know the whole get down, no shaving.
Like that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Patchouli oil.
Like that?
Yeah.
Hairs all the way from the coochie to the butt crack.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Well, hey, you already know, man. Doggy style, you see the hairs.
Right.
Hell yeah, man. How you like the spot, though? It's pretty cool, pretty chill, man.
Yeah, for sure. I like the setup.
You know what I'm saying? You got a brand new chair, too, from Amazon.
Okay, cool.
Nah, you know, I like to keep it presentable. You know, I said, little flavor, little color in here. You know, make it look a little bit professional. You know?
And your show, dude, you're blowing up. You got 100,000 on Instagram. You're getting the views.
I think I got like 24,000 subscribers on YouTube, man. And there's people that could hate. There's people that congratulate. I could give a fuck less. Thank you for the view. You know, I feel like if a lot of people devote their energy more into like helping people. Like, hey, what could I do to come on your podcast, Predikt? Instead of talking shit from like, you ain't even got bitches, bro, and you're over here talking shit. That's fine. You're not gonna please everybody, and that's fine. You know, it's like out of 10 people, maybe 8 people will like your shit. The other 2 people are gonna find a way to drag you into the mud, trolling. That's fine, dog. But thank you for the view.
Right.
I'm never gonna see who you are. You feel some type of way when you see me in wherever place you see me. Bring that same energy you were bringing on the chat. You know, but they never will.
Like cyber banging or whatever.
Whatever they fucking call that shit, man. Cyber banging, trolling, I don't know, man. But I learned something about this, that you have to have a tough skin, like rhino skin, and not really let the little things get to you. Like, well, so where you at? I'm about to go meet you at. What? Man, catch me when you catch me, dog. I'm not going to go down to your level and meet you somewhere or nothing. Find me. I'm not hard to find, and then we'll see.
Right.
You know, but other than that, man, I just try to stay in my lane, and I don't like to be like, what do they call it, comadreando, like other podcasters. All they do is talk shit about other podcasters, or they're worrying about what he's doing or they're doing. Like, bro, just focus on your podcast, what your podcast is all about. Don't start jumping out of content and start talking about other people's podcasts or whatever. Like, if we unite together, man, we're a strong force to be reckoned with. But everybody just decides to be like, oh. Me, I personally tell a lot of people, I'm like, look, man, when you come on my podcast, don't talk about other podcasters. Don't talk shit about we're here out for you. You know, you want to do that, go take that to somebody else's podcast and tell them how you feel about the other person. But not here. Right here is like, let's talk about you. What's going on with you? How did you start off rapping or podcasting? Because now I see a lot of rappers that they're also trying to do podcasts. It's like the thing to do right now.
Right.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure that you're good at it. Because it's way different than rapping. You have to make sure everybody's on time. You know what I'm saying? Keep everybody under control. You don't got to come with 10 people for what? Right. You know, and I always tell people, man, trust me the way I'm trusting you coming to my location. You know, there's no reason to be feeling like, well, I don't know, I had to run your name, I had to do this. You could run whatever you want. I don't know no money nowhere, so, you know, just respect me. I'll respect you, and just come with one guest only, man, or nobody. It's even better with nobody because they're not talking in the background, being bored on their phone or whatever. Like, I don't know what you brought them. It's like a job interview. Just come.
Right.
And have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for sushi earlier, man.
Okay.
Shout out to the homie Trash Bag Boys. Blessing it. Right there, Señor Sushi's Raider. Portate bien. You know, stop drinking, fool. You know, but yeah, man, good peoples, man. And I always like eating out here in the valley. You know, it's a lot of good places to eat, you know?
Yeah.
I take X everywhere. You know, but he never likes to eat fancy stuff. So I just take him to little taco stands.
Right.
He's some pupusas. But sometimes I take him to Yard House.
Yeah, Yard House. Okay.
Yard House is pretty cool.
They got like 20 beers on tap.
Yeah, and then he comes out all drunk and shit. I gotta carry him out. You know, but it's cool. You know?
Yeah.
I just talking shit.
I think you wanted to ask me how I got into my field, right?
Yeah, how did you get into becoming an attorney?
So when I went to Fairfax High, LA native, then I went to Berkeley. At Berkeley, I studied philosophy and architecture, and I was pre-med. After all that, I said, fuck it, I'm going to film school. So my wife at the time was in law school, so I lived in San Francisco in the Tenderloin, which is, you know, like 5th and Main Street, Skid Row in LA.
It's breezy over there, man. I went over there, I'm like, fuck, it's always kind of chilly over here. No matter what day, the sun could be out and you could still feel the breeze from the ocean. Yeah.
It's about 10 degrees cooler on average.
Yeah.
So when I was in film school, I did a documentary about my wife's moot court. So moot court is, you know,
where can we find it? Can we see it on YouTube or something?
I haven't edited it up, but through that, I got to see what they do, and I said I could do this. So I became a community organizer in San Francisco, where we were shutting down crack houses by suing property owners. Then I became the executive director, and then I got into local politics. So I worked with ex-offenders, people who were getting clean in the neighborhood. So through all of that, especially community organizing, I was able to start my law firm having been a public defender. So that's kind of my trajectory, how I got into this. I used to work for Prisoner Legal Services, which is inside the San Francisco jail, and we had the ability to sue the city and county if they did violations.
Do you think that their jails are in Frisco are more dirty than the LA County jails?
I think it's different because in San Francisco you have, it's a different dynamic. They do have Southsiders, like in the Mission District, where they fight with each other, you know, Team Red, Team Blue.
He's a Team Red, Team Blue.
But from what I remember, you know, they have a lot of Negros, and the gangs are different up there. So you got
for sure.
You got like your big blocks, and those dudes are way down in Hunters Point. So it's different from LA. I think LA is... I'll give you an example. I have a client who's in Ventura right now, and in Ventura they don't have a lot of politics. You know?
Right.
They just
805
don't.
is pretty big, and they just put everybody in one section, right?
Yeah, they don't. So when you think about LA County Jail, and I don't want to get too deep, but you have your politics.
Yeah, I remember when I was there, like every probably 4 or 5 feet, they would have a picture of people with staph infection. And I'm like, dang, what the fuck is that on that fool's elbow or his knees? And I'm like, damn, it's dirty up in here, you know? And the jail cells, you use a old key to open it, everything, you know? So when they finally shipped me out to Wayside, I was like, man, it's fucking clean over here. You could actually, you know, people are more programmed in Wayside. And in LA, man, it's like every man for themselves. Everybody's trying to catch fades. Like they're free.
I got you.
You know, but I mean, it was a learning experience for me being in there and experiencing certain things. You know, riots, fucking repas getting the keys taken away from them, getting their ass kicked. I was like, man, for this shit is real right here, man. You could go from being up here to roll it up.
Right.
You know, and I just learned. I don't know how there's a lot of people that love going back, or that's all they know. Like, no, that's all I know what to do. Like, bro, I love being out here. So when they released me, I was like, I'm fucking free. I gotta try everything I can, so I don't have to go back in. And there's some people that are out for 3 days and they're right back in.
Right.
You know, so when my judge dismissed my case at 2.5 years, she's like, I gotta give it to you because your kind doesn't make it not even past 2 months. So,
what does that mean, your kind?
That's what I meant.
Is that a racial?
Well, I think she looked at it because, you know, we're tatted down and everything, and it could be racial, it could not. I didn't take it like that. I know what she meant, you know, like gang, you know, you're gang affiliated, so 9 out of 10 times you're gonna go back in and we catch you in a gang injunction, whatever. So she's like, I see that you're trying to get a job. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm even here to expunge my record. I'm trying to get a federal job with the post office. She's like, wow, how can I not expunge your record? She even got up and she gave me a hug, man. I was like, wow, that shit feels so good. Especially the San Fernando court judges, they're really like, shh, you know, but she blessed me, man, and ever since, man, I mean, my record's been clean. When I get pulled over, cops are like, fuck, this motherfucker ain't got no tickets for nothing. So what are we going to get him for? Like, Portense Biennn. Is your camera on, dog? You know, because right now we're going to start getting with this racially profiling shit, you know? But I feel real good at heart that I don't have no priors no more. My record's been clean. I haven't gotten a ticket like in 15, 20 years.
Awesome.
So it's like, God damn, is this
knock on wood?
Is this full shit real? Is this license real? You know, and it just makes me feel good about myself, man, because everywhere I've gone or gotten a job, I have always been racially profiled. Like, who's this guy? Who's this gangster? Who's this? Like, I think I did the same fucking test to pass to get hired. So how are you going to single me out and tell me, well, he looks like this? So you look like a child molester. So what's up? Let me see your record, homie. So it's just, if you're gonna criticize me, well, what's behind your record? Even if you're an alcoholic and you got DUIs, does that make you a bad person? And what about me? I don't have any priors like that.
Right.
So they never judge a book by its cover, because you can learn a lot from a lot of people once they open their mouths.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of a case I did with Daniel Pena.
Uh-huh.
And so Pena, he's been locked up since he was 19. And he's probably done already about 30 years.
God damn.
But
so that was like 50 years old right now?
Yeah, he's a little... but he was like my law professor because of how much he knows on the inside.
Like a jailhouse lawyer?
No. Like, imagine, see us, right? I haven't done 10 years. I haven't seen all the politics. He has. So he would say, hey, Rosenberg, this case is bullshit, bro. Look at this. And so he had his discovery, and that's how we got him his dismissal. He had 2 wiretap cases, and I got 3 drug counts dismissed on a wiretap case.
Wow.
And it's because...
And it's all because he read his whole shit.
Well, it's because he's a smart guy, and I worked with him. I didn't say, well, I'm the lawyer. What do you know? Blah, blah, blah. I said, look, how are we going to do this? So his job was to kind of pump me up and keep me going. And then my job is I'm trying to learn from him. That's how I win.
Nice.
So I'll give a shout out. People know, they know.
Hell yeah. You have any questions for him? Nothing legal? Come on, man. You're the most illegal person in here. He has no questions.
Okay.
You see, I got all kinds of questions going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say if you know somebody that did commit that murder, and you got to fight for him and be like, he's innocent. But he's not. How does that make you feel taking him out?
So the answer is that I've done cases, where my client's going to say, Rosenberg, right? I pulled that trigger. But so in a murder case, they have to prove identity. Identity means that Rosenberg's client is the one responsible for what happened. But for crimes of violence, we have something called self-defense.
Self-defense.
So in self-defense, if somebody is imminently using force on you and you actually believe that it's great bodily injury or death, then you can use force back.
But you're supposed to be able to be showing your gun in order for you to show the force back, right? You have to be able to see your gun.
You don't have a gun anyways.
Shut the fuck up. See,
so look, let's say we're at the club and we step outside, and I reach in my waistband, I pull out the semi, and I rack the slide. You don't have to wait for me to shoot.
You already showed me threat.
No, you're about to use deadly force on me.
Right.
That's self-defense. But in a self-defense case, a couple things happen. First of all, the defendant usually has to testify because he has to testify I was in fear for my life, right? And explain what was going on. But second thing is that the victim's reputation and character for violence is admissible at the trial. So what that means is that the DAs can have a dirty victim and the jury can hear about it. So I did a case where my client was accused of shooting his cousin. His cousin was tweaked out, and the cousin had done a carjacking and shot somebody in the leg 10 days before he pulled a gun on my client, which is exactly what he did. He racked the slide, and then he was about to shoot. So my client popped one, pop, 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 and then one more pop.
One more pop.
There was one more pop at the
one
end.
last one, huh?
And this was the testimony and the evidence at trial. So I'm not disclosing any attorney-client privilege information. But when I did the trial, so the first one ended in a mistrial because the detective said my client asked for a lawyer. So that's what we call Doyle error. So that one got mistrial, so we had to do it again.
Error. Okay.
Now, in the second one, I had domestic violence priors on the victim, and I had the carjacking, and I had other incidents, but the judge didn't let me introduce that at trial. So basically, I couldn't put on the victim's character for violence. So my client ended up getting convicted on a second-degree murder, but the case went up to the Court of Appeal, and they said no, Rosenberg's client did not have a fair trial, so they sent it back. But let me tell you what happened. It was so egregious that the Court of Appeal published that decision. So now all the lawyers in California, they can read my case on self-defense.
Fuck,
and
you need to make like a fucking a Netflix series about you or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a fucking great ass storyteller, man. That's that thing I get zoned into you so much because you go into these detailed words, and I'm like, I could picture what the fuck you're talking about.
Right. No, I appreciate that. So what happened is that the judge made a ruling saying that if my client didn't know about the incident 10 days prior, then it wasn't admissible. And that's actually absolutely wrong. That's not the law. So that case that we did stands for that principle. So it was a good case for us. So then what I did after that is the appellate lawyer who wrote the briefs, I pretty much hired him. So now I have the badass appellate lawyer who's my appellate division.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
So then there's another case that he's helping me with. I can't say too much about it, but I can tell you that in the 90s, it was one of the top cases in the newspaper, and I'm trying to get my client a new trial. We have a witness who several years later admitted to my investigator that he lied on the stand. And so that evidence of factual innocence, we're hoping, is enough to trigger getting him a new trial. And that's a CCB court
That's
case.
a CCB
That's a
court.
CCB court case that I'm working on. Now,
Man.
if I get that new trial, it's going to be huge. It's a special
Some news
circumstance.
shit is going to be in the news.
Well, I don't know about that, but in the calles, they will know.
In the calles.
In the calles, they will know.
Hell yeah, man. Fuck, man. You're very smart, man. You're a very intelligent attorney, man.
No, I appreciate that, bro.
And I could tell that you really go out of your way to open up the law books and really start studying it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there's a lot of attorneys' offices that I've been into. Oh, attorneys of the year, attorney this, attorney that. But like, goddamn, open the book, man. If you could help somebody out, that's why you're here. You're not here just to be looking nice with all these books in your office, and you don't even know what 80% of those books say.
Mm-hmm.
Am I lying?
Yeah. So for the private lawyers, some lawyers focus on the business side, and they don't necessarily do a lot with the law. Some lawyers do a lot with the law, but they don't do the business side. So to do this job correctly, you have to do both.
You got to know how to jiggle.
Right. And, most people think that, we win just because we have swag.
No, hell no.
The way that I win at trial is because I'm a good writer. So you have to write motions to get the judge to do something.
And a lot of attorneys don't even want to go through that. And you're like, hold on, man. Here we go.
So being a criminal lawyer is very interesting. It has many different aspects of it. But one of the important parts is that, I have to learn how to talk to my clients in a way that they'll understand. Right? If I just say, good morning, sir, how are you? But if I say, what's up, my boy? Then all of a sudden I'm reaching over and
to my
communicating.
language, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's important to learn the words so that
of your client, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes completely a lot of sense because some attorneys just like, hey, good morning. Like, kind of tell me, good morning, Mr. Muniz, how are you? How's your day going? I'm like, oh, thank you for even asking. I'm just waiting for you to get me the fuck out of here, dog. But thank you for asking me how I'm doing. Some lawyers just go straight to the business part. Hey, okay, we'll see what we could do. And then you never hear from them for like 3-4 weeks. But when you take your time and talk to your clients, it makes them open up a door for you. Be like, you know what? I fuck with Attorney Rosenberg, man. And that's something that I've always admired about you. That even out of nowhere, when you call me or you text me, what you doing? Everything cool? Just checking on you. And you're an attorney, you can call anybody all day. You're like, let me call Predikt. Let me just see what he's doing. He's cool peoples.
Right.
You know, and I really appreciate that. Just that simple, how are you, Louis, or Predikt, whatever, you know? Like, I love that about you because it makes me feel like you don't forget where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm very comfortable talking to you. I've told you so much shit about me, and you're like, fuck, man, fucking Louis, you're crazy. You know, but I have that comfort with you.
Mm-hmm.
That if I ever need something, I'm going to call Rosenberg. That's my attorney. I don't know nobody else that I could trust. You know what I'm saying? Call Nicholas Rosenberg here. Tell him Predikt is here.
Right.
You know,
no, I appreciate that,
you
bro.
know?
Like I said in the beginning, much love, much respect.
Yeah, man. But any shout-outs you want to give out to anybody out there, man, on anything that you're working on?
Well, I'll give a shout-out to Reverie and Baldacci. Her album, No Chaser, is up for Grammy consideration.
Really?
And that's the homegirl from Highland Park.
Baldacci was just here like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's on the album. They have at least one song together. So shout out to Rev. Keep killing it. And I mean, there's a lot of shout outs, right? I got Swifty Blue. I got Doughboy. I got Money Sign Suede. I got Dinero. I got N-Dub. I got all kinds of people.
She got Predikt, Tommy, SK
got Predikt.
Mob, Conejo, Kilo,
We got Prime,
Prime.
SKM.
She's got everybody in the SK Mob squad, man, you know? And we all have a lot of love for you, man.
No, I appreciate that.
You know? If anybody needs something, we'll give them some. You know? Man. So other than that, man, thank you very much for coming, giving us a little bit of your time, precious time, man, and just coming in here. You really made my podcast happen.
Cool.
Because I'm trying to bring somebody in that brings something to the table. I don't care what kind of hustle you do. I want to have a taquero right here. Come on, let us know what goes on over there, you know?
Sure.
I want to have somebody from every walk of life, man. You know, fucking bring a DA here. Sit down, bitch. Let's talk. You know? But yeah, man, I just want to have different people up on here that have a story behind it, a good story, and let people hear it, man. There's people that could relate to you, you know?
Right.
Whether if it's just crossing the border or slanging chicles in the frontera. I mean, a lot of things, man, that we could relate to. And if you've never told that story, come and tell your story, man. Never be scared or afraid to speak up for where the fuck you came from, man. If you were raised on nothing but hand-me-downs, that's why you go harder now to go buy brand stuff or something because you didn't have it as you got older, you know? That's I love talking to people that just come from the bottom up, man. You know, and I know you're one of those attorneys that you took your time to come in here, man. Other attorneys be like, I don't want to be on a podcast for what? Stay your ass home, take out your dentures. I'm going to call Rosenberg. He's going to come over here and bless the podcast. You know, and you're just a very cool man. And every time you call me, I'm like, that's what's up, man. I appreciate that. No attorney ever in my life calls me just to see how you doing.
Yeah. You're part of the familia, bro.
Gracias. Thank you for taking me to Sam's, too. Hey, hubby. Hey, he took me to Sam's. I didn't even want to go, dog. Hey, he dragged me along, fool. Bro, I told you, I haven't been to one in this
He tried to play coy.
That's where I met Cassie, fool, that day.
Cassie.
Yeah, man, Cassie's still cool, man. She's still out there, you know. She's a cool homegirl, man. But thank you very much for coming, Rosenberg, you know, and I don't know how many times I could thank you, but anytime you might have something in the future that you want to come out and put out there, like let's say you have an event.
Yeah, we have.
Like if
we
you have
have
an
some
event
shows.
like a year, like in a month from now or something, hit me up like 2 weeks before. We'll do it, and then we'll release it on a Sunday before your show. We'll be like, on next week, you guys go pull up on Rosenberg. He's having an event in so-and-so city, and we'll promote it here, man. Come on, man. All on the strength, man. I'll do that shit for you all day.
Yeah, well, we do have an event coming up. We've got the Lampa Awards, which is going to be Saturday, December 3rd. That's through Nationwide Presents. You can see links on my stories, and I have some posts about it. The other event that we have doing is To Live and Die in L.A. To Live and Die in L.A. is coming out
Tupac's
in March.
Come out of nowhere?
No, that was Coachella.
Sure? Oh, okay.
That was Coachella. Eminem and Dre. So that event, I'll be a sponsor at that event. I'm going to be at the Lampa. And then we have a couple surprises coming out for 2023.
Hell yeah, man. You know, and I told you, X, he runs another podcast at Dr. Green Thumbs.
Okay,
it's
right.
called We Don't Smoke the Same. They go live. They go live on their stuff, you know, and if they ever want to have an attorney up in there, hey, it'll be dope having you up on there, you know?
Yeah, I'd go.
You know, so just, and it's right there by your job.
Right, it's downtown.
It's right there. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever, like I told you, man, you guys got my blessings. Link up with him and let him start asking you questions, and it'll be pretty awesome, man. You know, let's keep getting your name out there, letting everybody know that you fuck with us, man.
All right. Appreciate that.
You already know what it is, fucking Rosenberg. CCC. Thank you guys very much, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we're out.